Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining our Profit First Bookkeepers panel. I'm Michelle Tolhurst and I'm one of the Profit First guides here at Profit First Australia and New Zealand. And today I'm joined by four amazing bookkeepers and Profit First professionals who are going to share their Profit First inspiration, tips and stories with us. So let them introduce themselves. Sharon, welcome.
Hello, Sharon from Additional Business Concepts, and we are bookkeepers come helping people grow their businesses.
Larissa.
Hi, Larissa from Canberra, Growth Accounting. We're a remote business and doing bookkeeping, BAS agent type and management accounting services and Profit First.
Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine from the Butterfly Bookkeeper. We are local to the Macarthur area in Sydney, and we offer bookkeeping services and Profit First as well.
And Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily from EJS Business Services. I'm based out in Central West New South Wales, and we help rural and regional businesses with their bookkeeping and business strategy, including Profit First.
Thanks, everyone. As you can see, we have a broad range of industries and support, even though we're all Profit First bookkeepers here. So to start off, what I'd like to ask you is, why did you decide to become a Profit First professional? Sharon.
Well, it was actually a client of mine that showed me the book originally. I think that was like 2018, 2019. And I even did the percentages, which was funny. But it was 2020, beginning of 2020, I was having business coaching with Katrina through Pure Bookkeeping. And I read the book Free to Focus and did the little, what's my, main thing that I want to do. And she said, oh, you've got to go to Profit First. So I left her business coaching. And how timely, just as all the, crumble of 2020 happened, I started learning, putting Profit First into my business. And yeah, it was just incredible.
Fantastic. And Larissa, why did you decide to become a Profit First professional?
I read the book a little while ago and really liked the concepts and how simple it was, and how I just felt that it was going to be something that was really relatable for business owners, because I'd been trying to have deeper conversations with a lot of my clients to get more into that advisory space and just to get a better handle on their business. But some would be interested and some would start to gloss over. And I just felt that Profit First was just a nice, simple way to relate to business owners, that they could just look at a bank account and have a good idea of where they stood. So I'd been interested for a while and didn't really have the time to pursue it. It was kind of a goal that I was going to do at some point within the last 12 months. And then I was just having a chat with a client one day and we were discussing business books and just different things. He was one of these clients that loves having these conversations. And I said, oh, Profit First would be something that would really work for you. And his eyes lit up and we just got talking about it. And I thought, right, now's the time to jump on board. If I've got a client that's interested, I'm going to sign up. And I did. And I think I was signed up and at the first conference within about 24 hours.
You were. I remember that, Larissa. I think we spoke just days before that. And I thought, wow, this lady is an action taker. She's joining up straight away and will be at the conference tomorrow.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
amazing. And two common stories there. Both Sharon and Larissa got introduced to Profit First by a client. So that's interesting that that's the way you first came across the system. Christine, what's your story?
So I was always looking to improve my business, and I was part of Pure Bookkeeping, and I noticed a couple of the Pure Bookkeeping people, when I looked at their profiles to see what they were doing differently, were Profit First professionals. And I just left it in the back of my mind for a while. And then another time I was looking at ways to improve my business again, looking for advisory, and Profit First came up. And that's when I thought, okay, now's the time, and jumped on board.
Fantastic. And Emily?
So I can't remember how I actually came across it initially, but I read the book about 2 years ago, and implemented it straight away for my business based on the book. And then about 18 months ago, took my business full time. It was just a bit of a side hustle while I was working full time. And then I took it full time, and at that point realized I could help businesses in a better way than just the bookkeeping work. So I was seeing what it was doing for my money management as well. So once I'd felt like I sort of had it under control a bit, and then it popped up. I joined Pure Bookkeeping as well, got it implemented, and that's when I really felt it was time to dive into Profit First. I joined up in September last year.
Fantastic. And for those of you who may have listened to our webinar last week, we'd spoken about Profit First as a service for bookkeepers. So what I'd like our bookkeepers here to share today is, how do they offer Profit First as a service with their clients? Who would like to share first? Larissa.
Okay.
I share it in conjunction with the services that I was already offering to existing clients. So I haven't gone out and marketed it outside of existing clients just yet. I've just started with having conversations with existing clients where I've seen that they could have a use for it, and gotten quite a lot of interest that way. So I haven't had any need to go any further afield just yet. So it's just with existing clients as an additional service for now.
Fantastic. Emily.
So I have done a little bit of a mix. I've brought in some new clients based through social media connections, and so I've offered them a 3-month package of doing a bit of a clarity session and then supporting them to get set up with Profit First and start the rollout. So that's sort of as far in as I am so far. Being relatively new, but also with my existing clients, there's been a couple that I could see would really benefit them. So I've implemented that 3-month system with them as well. But I'm really exploring, how it could fit in the future with my ag businesses and different offerings that might suit them.
Fantastic. And Christine, how do you work with Profit First with your clients?
So I actually do an assessment when I get a new client in, and as part of that assessment, we sort of look at what their needs are. And if I find that the Profit First would really help them, I actually build it into the package and I show it to them as a presentation. Otherwise, if they come to me specifically for Profit First, then we'll do Profit First and then look at other areas of their business. So I do it as a combination of either just Profit First on its own or as part of the business as well.
Fantastic.
Bookkeeping service.
And Sharon, how do you work with Profit First?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate that some of my clients came straight on board with me, and the difference has been just incredible. So like the one that showed me the book to start with, we're actually having a meeting after this session, and I'm a bit excited because it's so evolving. Like I don't think people realize that. So I'm actually working with Craig now, the Profit First Profit as well, which has just been a game changer. So even just being able to roll out that forecasting tool, and so I do have clients who don't have Profit First at the moment. I'm getting a little bit to the point where BAS is just another BAS, but I'm using it now to show them what their books look like through a Profit First lens, and to start to introduce it that way. And for people who want to come and work with us, then it's often the Profit First focus, because that's you can't help but help with their cash flow. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Like Laura always says, you give them what they want and you show them what they need.
We've actually got a question that's coming from somebody who's live watching us. She wants to know, it's from Therese, is there an ideal business size that you work with? So based on my understanding that each Profit First professional does things differently. Some of us focus on specific industries, some of us focus on sizes of business. So would anyone like to comment on what size businesses you work with? Is it more startups? Is it medium-sized, small businesses? Sharon, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, so I have often worked in the medical industry. And for me, that's a little bit of a niche because I understand it, and there's a few things around that Profit First can work really well with. So I do like to talk to that industry in particular, and not-for-profits. I have a couple of not-for-profit clients. So it's not really size as so much how it works for them and what we can provide them with that cash flow strategy.
And Emily, you work with another specific industry which you touched on before. Would you like to share that?
Yeah, so I'm focused in the agriculture and particularly farming industries, but yeah, there's a big range in size of businesses. So once again, like Sharon, not limited to size, but yeah, my niche is more in that ag industry. That's our background and that's our passion. So.
Thank you. And Christine, do you have any sizes or industries that you work with?
I actually like variety. So I actually enjoy working with a startup, doing their Profit First, and then moving to like a hospitality or mechanic. The different issues that they get and that bring up, that I actually find that nice, that we can still apply the knowledge that we have and help them in whatever industry they have. So variety keeps me interested. So I do like the variety of clients in different areas.
Thanks, Christine. And Larissa?
Most of my client base is in construction, and that's sort of just come about because I've got a long history, a previous career history in construction myself. So a lot of word of mouth has meant that clients in the same industry have come my way. But I've also got some hospitality, some service-based businesses, and they do range from, I guess I don't have too many really small businesses, so they probably start at about 500,000 and go up into multi-millions from there. But definitely Profit First just works in any business, any size, any industry. It doesn't matter. It's a great tool for any business.
Thanks, Larissa. And I even know there's a few Profit First professionals who started from day one in their own business using Profit First. So you don't need an established business to start with Profit First. You can start it straight away. We've actually had another question come in, specifically to you, Christine. Do you find that startups are okay to work with if they have a limited budget?
Yes, yeah, because it depends where they are in the startup phase. If they haven't gotten very far along, then it's very easy to get them on track before they start making decisions that they might not have necessarily made, uneducated ones. So at least giving them those percentages right from the start, because with a startup, they don't have the history that everyone else has. So you can give them those base percentages to work with, and that gives them clarity, because a lot of startups don't actually know how much to pay themselves. They don't know how much they should be putting aside for GST and, well, for tax anyway. So it just helps them to actually have a bit of clarity. And a lot of startups do need support around pricing and wages and things.
Thanks, Christine. Hopefully that's answered your questions, Therese. So what I'd like our bookkeepers to share with us now is maybe they can share an example of some results that they have seen for their clients using Profit First as a service. Sharon, would you like to go first?
Yeah. So I've got a client who is in the I don't know, what do you call it, tech industry with web design. And it's given them a lot of clarity as to who to employ. So do they employ someone here on the ground, or do they employ someone from overseas? As you know, that's a lot in their industry. And it's given them a lot of clarity over their numbers for that and their profitability. And knowledge is power, and numbers give you a story. And what this does is help you understand the story. Like I'll take the numbers to the client and I'll say, what's going on with your payroll? And they'll come right in with the story. And it's that clarity of putting those two things together that they'll go, oh, that's what I need to do. So that's where the real gold is, that you start to work on, well, this is the problem. How are we going to fix it?
Fantastic. And as they say, you can't hide from your bookkeeper. So your bookkeeper knows everything about your business. So what a better way to have a bookkeeper that's also a profit first professional and can advise you on your business to better plan your business moving forward. Thanks for that, Sharon. Larissa.
I think when you read the book, I think one of the biggest messages in there is it seems to really help out businesses that are struggling to turn a profit, struggling to pay themselves and all that kind of thing. And I had a client, this first client that got me on board, he didn't really have a serious cash flow problem. He was paying himself. Everything was sort of ticking along smoothly. He just kind of felt like he didn't have enough of a handle on his business. So what the big result that we've had is, again, that when you focus, what gets measured gets managed, do they say? And he didn't really have many costs that he needed to cut. He was a pretty lean machine. And so we then started focusing on his turnover, and we broke it right down into a daily turnover. And now he's got this glass window that he uses markers on. And once a week I go in and visit them. And every time I go in there, there's a weekly graph of his daily sales. And he's got a line across that he has to hit each day. And I go in and there's all excitement because every day since we've started it, he's smashed through this daily level, and it's made a massive impact on his turnover and profit just by focusing on one thing that and he said it's changing the decision making that he makes, because he said if he needed something cleaned up or if he needed something done in the workshop, he'd pull guys off the production line and get them to help. Now he'll look for different ways of doing that because he doesn't want to pull them off the production line, because then he might not reach his daily sales targets or his daily revenue targets. So it's just really changed his decision making just by being really focused on these numbers, and it's made a massive difference just over the last month.
I love that, Larissa, because it's something different. It's not about they had a problem or you've got debt or you've got a cash flow problem, but even people who supposedly his business is running smooth, there's so much that can still be offered with Profit First. There's more than just improving those cash flow, or there's lots of services that can be delivered exactly how Larissa has explained. So thanks for sharing that, Larissa. Christine, do you have a result you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I have a client, they're in the mechanics kind of space, and they realized that they were tipping in money into the business quite frequently because they had a mindset of always having to pay all their bills on time. And so we had to look at different things to manage their cash flow, looking at things like extending payment terms or also getting deposits up front. They weren't getting deposits up front. So we started to look at different things they could do. And then we started looking at their pricing as well. So there was all these different things that was happening above the line, like before we even looked at expenses that could help make an impact on their business. So that was a really good thing to see with them. So that way they could really get focused on managing what was coming in and making sure that they had the funds to take their projects through.
Fantastic. Thanks, Christine. And Emily?
So I've got two examples. My first one that I've been working with, she came to me in, like Larissa, not in a bad position or any way. She just she felt she didn't understand her business well enough. So she really just wanted to get a better understanding on how things were going, where improvements could be made if, how things were tracking. So she's gained a lot of clarity around where her business was and where it could potentially be. So that's been really good. And then the second one is a cafe they purchased, and they have found it was similar, like just not quite sure about the clarity and how they were going. But also through implementing it, they've found they're actually now putting the right amounts for tax aside, because before they were just kind of guessing and just moving random amounts to create a bit of a savings. So it's provided them sort of an actual strategy of managing their money, and getting the clarity on how things were going. So a lot of clarity for mine so far.
Thanks, Emily. And I guess Profit First is about being proactive and doing something in advance to make sure that people are going to be prepared and having that strategy and plan in place. Next, I'd like you to share is what has Profit First done for your business? So as Profit First professionals, one part of the process of certification is that we need to implement Profit First in our own businesses. So we can't just expect our clients to be doing this, but we need to do this ourselves. So we have to live and breathe Profit First. We need to go through all of those challenges that clients do as well. So I'd like you to share with us with your own Profit First implementation. Perhaps you'd like to share a challenge or something that you noticed, or something that's happened in your business since you have implemented Profit First. Christine, would you like to go first?
Sure. I actually wasn't keeping enough money aside for GST when I first started. I knew I should, and I was putting money aside, but I wasn't putting enough. And what I really love now is that when the BAS comes due, the funds are there, and I also have to pay PAYGI as well. So I've got my tax account, my BAS account, and my funds are paid where they're due, and I just know that they're covered. Like, I don't even think, where am I going to get this money from? Because it's just been accumulating, and I look at it and I go, I'm going to have enough money for BAS. It's just good, because I know what it felt like before when you're going, oh no, BAS is due, I need another sale. So even as a financial person, I wasn't putting enough money aside. Even though I had money aside, I just wasn't putting enough. So the clarity, and it's just great. It makes a big difference.
Fantastic. Thanks, Christine. Larissa, what's your biggest change you've seen?
Well, same as Christine, that sort of having the money aside to pay those bills is great. But one exercise I went through was looking at all the expenses in my business, and I'm a bit of a sucker for the latest shiny new app, as a lot of us are. And something new will come on and you sign up for the free trial, and then all of a sudden that's expired and you've got this subscription ticking over. So I did an exercise of going through my accounts and checking every subscription that I was signed up to and looking at what return I was getting for that subscription, and what there's some double ups as well as what different apps provide you. You can often find that you'll get something similar from something else. So I went right through and knocked out significant amounts of money every month, in the high hundreds each month, of subscriptions that I was signed up to that I really didn't need. So that's been a massive change for me. Very valuable exercise.
Fantastic, Larissa. That can be that there's always better ways in doing something, and that's something that Mike speaks a lot about. That's what Profit First forces us to do, I guess, is to find another way of doing something with a smaller amount of money often. Sharon, what would you like
It took me
to
off
share?
the hamster wheel. I stopped just going after. I literally have shrunk my client base, and am paying myself still consistently, and still probably more. And one of my biggest things was, because I have some people who work for me, I felt like I had to give them the hours each week. But Profit First showed me, well, actually, you don't have that work. So then I started managing that better. But probably even better than that for me is that I didn't just keep it in the business. I took it into our home life. And that has been such a game changer for us as a family. And so, we live and breathe profit first everywhere. My poor husband has to, which account can I take money out of? None. So yeah, it's probably that if I summed it up in one word, I feel in control and I have freedom.
Thanks, Sharon. Do you actually work with that personal finance space with any clients, or is that just something you do for yourself?
I'm going to be rolling it out in a workshop for a client. And I'm actually looking at workshops in general because people are just hungry. And when we talk about startups, I'd rather just take them back to that personal and get them working there first to understand money. And yeah, people are hungry for it. It's incredible. When I talk about it, they're like, oh, I'd love to learn that. So yeah.
So watch this space. Sharon's releasing something very soon. I'm sure we'll be able to share that on the Profit First social channels when it's released. And Emily.
So my biggest takeaway from implementing it for myself has been probably to scale sustainably. So it's kept me in line as I have expanded. I've brought on a full-time employee, and I don't think I would have been able to manage that well enough without the Profit First system in place, as well as putting enough aside for tax and everything else. So I've just found it's allowed me to grow within my boundaries. So that's probably been my biggest takeaway.
Okay, thank you. We've got another question that's come up. Do any of you have clients that have had a big debt before they started implementing Profit First? Today's Sharon, you're nodding. Would you like to share?
One that's going down that space at the moment, and we're putting a lot of things in place. And it's not always just about paying off that debt straight away, but that's the beauty of the Profit First system, where the debt snowball. So you're paying the smallest debt off first. So you're kicking those goals. And as you're kicking those goals, you can know that you'll go on to the next one and on to the next one and smash that out. But I've actually got a client that came up, a new one, and that was their biggest thing was we have this tax debt and we have this other debt in their lives, and they wanted to smash it. So it wasn't even a business side of things. They want to smash out their mortgage. And so coming from it from that perspective, but it's that coming back to that money goals. And if that debt is the main thing, then that's where you're going to focus and know where you need to move those percentages around so you can start to reduce the debt.
Thanks, Sharon. Hopefully that's answered your question there around debt. And I know lots of Profit First professionals deal with clients that have debt, so it's definitely something that is manageable within the Profit First framework. What I'd like to ask our bookkeepers is, what do you love about the Profit First membership? Larissa, would you like to go first?
Sure. There's so many parts, and I think what I probably underestimated was the value of every other part other than just the program itself. I think the community is great. There's calls every week for you to get on and ask questions. You can ask any question anytime. The guides, there's guides available for one-on-ones if you've got any questions. I think it's just that it's so much more than just the Profit First side of things. There's support and resources to help you run your business and people to bounce ideas off. And so it's a full kind of business support network around Profit First. But it's just a great community.
Thanks, Larissa. Christine, what do you love about the membership?
Well, like Larissa said, with all the resources and all the support from the guides and things, the other thing that I really get a lot out of is that we can also talk amongst ourselves. Like, we actually are supportive of each other. It really feels like a family. So I've reached out to someone who wasn't a guide and who had experience with a type of customer that I needed some support with. And they freely just made time for me, which was just amazing. And I'm not the only one that's happened to. You hear stories too of people helping each other, and that's really, really good to know that you've got so many resources available to you, and you just have to ask. You just say, like, who knows someone who has a client that does this, and you get pointed in the right direction. So I do appreciate that. That's been very helpful.
Thanks, Christine. And just for those that are listening, we have 2 private Facebook groups. So I'm guessing that's where Christine has posted her question, or perhaps in our weekly open offices. So there's the Australian and New Zealand Facebook group, which is all of our members who are local. And plus we have the global Facebook group, which is all Profit First professionals around the world. So everyone can offer different insights. And I would agree that everyone is so willing to share. It's not competition between Profit First professionals. It's more, let's be a collaborative and make Profit First work for the community. Thanks, Christine. Emily.
Yes, I'm much the same as Larissa. I'm absolutely loving the sessions we have together, and the community and those groups, being able to search through and see all the previous posts and find resources. And I think also too a bit of accountability in terms of working with the guides, and just the accountability and getting certified and then out there helping people more. So all the resources, the community, everything I'm loving.
Fantastic. Thanks, Emily. And Sharon, do you have anything else to add?
How it's evolving. Like, it's always evolving, and it's always just getting better and better. And I just love our weekly Zooms. They're the highlights of my week. I've just sort of done like a dips, and I've gone through times when I haven't quite been able to make it, but now I'm at this point where I just can't miss one. So yeah, I've even structured my weeks to make sure I attend.
Fantastic. And Sharon's actually out of the group here today, one of our longest serving Profit First professionals. I think she's going into 3-4 years now.
3,
yeah. So it is something you can continue to work with clients year in and year out. We've had a question that's come up. Is there support with marketing? So I'll answer that. I actually am the Profit First guide with the marketing background. So there is plenty of resources in relation to sales and marketing. Probably once a month on our open office calls, we do have a marketing specific session, which usually I'll present something of interest to the community. It might be a tool that I've used, or sharing how to write a blog, or what things you should post on social media, or whatever it may be. So all the members are free to book one-on-one calls if they wish. There's support available by email or within the group, and we actually have actual resources too that are available to members. Okay, well, finally, we are near the end of our webinar, and thank you everybody for joining us today. But the last thing I would like our bookkeepers to share with those that are watching is, if you have one tip for the people who are watching today that may be considering joining Profit First, what would you share with them? Sharon?
Go deeper. This is a way to go deeper with your clients and really work with them to grow their business. And we all hear that horrid thing of, you've got to go into advisory. Well, actually, we're not advisors. We are right there alongside of our clients. And as Laura says, we never offer the solutions, but we help them look for them. And so, yeah, just get off the tax wheel. Don't make that your main thing. Make growing the business, growing their profit, the main thing.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sharon. And Larissa?
Yeah, much the same. I'd just say, if you're getting a bit over the whole compliance thing and kind of feeling like, sometimes we feel like we're not really providing any value in that space, where we're just getting the bank accounts reconciled and the BAS is prepared, and you let your client know that they've got this bill due, and that you're like the bearer of bad news because their BAS bill is so high. You can flip all that on its head and just come at it from such a more valuable space of helping your clients be more satisfied in their business, then that flows into us being more satisfied in our businesses. It's just far more rewarding way to do business.
Thanks, Larissa. Christine?
Yeah, just do it. Actually, that's my thing. Like, if you're even considering it, the support's there. Like, you are going to be handheld all the way through. So if you're thinking about it, just do it, because it'll impact your clients' businesses, and it'll impact your own, and you'll get a lot more satisfaction out of what you do, because you'll be making a bigger impact to those around you.
Thanks, Christine. And Emily?
Yeah, much the same as Christine. Just do it. Don't sit there thinking about it for too long. I wish I dived in earlier, but also, what was I had one point that I was going to say. No, I know I've lost it. Sorry, but yeah, just do it. Dive in, and it is so rewarding. So, yeah.
Thanks, Emily. I've just posted the links in the comments as well. So if you are considering becoming a Profit First professional, perhaps you're not quite ready to join yet, but you just have some questions and you'd like to know more, there is a Q&A session that you can book with one of the guides to ask your questions. Or if you are ready to jump right in and you're ready to apply, you can book an interview with one of the guides. So our membership is open from now until the 31st of May. So we have launch periods. Otherwise, we reopen again in September. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our 4 Profit First bookkeepers for joining us today and sharing their wisdom with us all. We really appreciate your time. And we'll see everyone again real soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.